What's going on, YouTube? Claic Yuzolt back again with another Final Fantasy Brave Exvius 7-star enhancement review, and we got a big one here for a lot of people. The Chinese New Year units finally got their upgrade. That's right, good boy Chow, Aang, and Yoon, the Chocobo Rider, are here with their 7 stars. They're all looking really solid. Chow looking real good, though. Let's get into it. Alright, first up we have Aang, that we're going to talk about the 7-star upgrades. I have heard what you guys said. I've made some changes. I'm hoping the font that you guys see, I heard in the Eject and Orin one, it was super blurry. Can't really read it. I'm hoping this time it's more sharp and clear because I want you guys to have the best quality when you guys come by here for FFBE content. So let me know in the comments below if there's anything else you think needs change, if things don't look right, if you can't read it or something like that. Let me do the best I can to help you guys. That kind of criticism is always welcome. Constructive criticism, I like it. Anyway, so what did Aang do at 6 stars? So Aang had the ability to have a lot of killers stacked on him and then finish with his LB. There were a lot of times people were building up his LB, doing the imperils, using Sunbreaker, and then just trying to one-shot anything they get their hands on. Aang was an extremely fun unit to mess around with. Let's see if they either add on that or change him completely at his 7-star. I'm hoping they just add to it, add some ways to get his LB up, add some more killers, add even maybe some imbue. We need some true double hand, and just make him, an even stronger version of himself. But maybe even past the point of being really, really happy to get him. You know what I mean? I want to be excited about him. So let's see. His STMR is actually insane. Increase attack 60% when equipped with a bow. Increase equipment attack 100%. So it's 100% true double hand when you have a bow put on. Now I'm not saying there's a ton of bow people out there that have bows on. A lot of time people are putting on equipped bow and then slapping this Sunbreaker on the units because it's just amazing. It's a two-handed weapon, bird and dragon killer. It's always been good. I missed out on getting him when he first came out. And again, I don't know if you guys knew, but I'm not going to be pulling very much. We're using tickets this time around on this limited time banner, so we'll see what happens. Probably won't, but we'll see. Anyway, so people like to put equip bow on, or if they can equip a bow, put this on, and then this will be good for them. But it's not something you have to go insane for, in my opinion. There are a lot of units out there where we're going to be moving into a meta where the bows aren't going to be it's not like they're going to fade away and not be usable, but they're not going to be the strongest option. So pushing yourself and spending your money on these limited time banners for this STMR, while bonkers, giving you a 60% attack depending on having a bow and 100% true double hand is really good. It's just too many limited banners recently, right, guys? It's tough. It's real tough out there. So very, very good for Aang and maybe Aurora Fravia when she comes. Obviously, anybody that puts equipped bow on and puts Sunbreaker and Sharpshooter on are going to be happy, but it's not something you absolutely need, all right? Moving on down, we're going to look at what he gets at 7-star. Starting out with a Zor Arrow. Physical damage 4 times to 1 enemy. Decrease wind resist 75% for 3 turns to 1 enemy. And add wind element to attacks for 3 turns. So obviously we're putting Sunbreaker on Aang. That's already done. That is your equipment. And then you're going to build him true double hand. This allows you to imperil and add wind and imbue while doing a little bit of finishing damage. Not too shabby. Not too great, but not too shabby. This is an amazing move to get a 7-star for Aang. It really pushes him up. Now, this is going to conflict with a couple things in his kit a little bit later on, but I still like it, and I think it's very powerful, okay? Next up, he gets dual arrows, meaning that he can cast a lot of his arrow abilities twice in a turn, including the next ability, Power Arrow, which is a 7 times finishing ability, okay? And he can cast that twice because of dual arrow with the true double hand build. So if you can fit 2 of them in the middle, we'll have to see how that exactly works. That's going to be extremely powerful for you. The only arrow ability he cannot cast twice, but it makes sense, is going to be his Hyper Shot, which must be unlocked by his LB. But that's going to do 10 times finishing damage. It's a 1 hit. And you can do it twice, right? Choose 2 enemies. I do believe you can choose the same enemy twice. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but I do believe that's how he worked when he came out. I never got him, so I never got to see it for myself, but that's still really great there. Moving on up to see what else he gets, we have Steady Bow. Available turn 1. It's going to be a 4-turn cooldown total. Increase attack 200%. Increase attack break resist 100% for 4 turns. And give him his LB. Essentially, you cast this, you buff yourself up, and then you can use your LB on the next turn, which is what we essentially want to be doing. We want to be putting as many killer abilities on him, and now we can dual cast them. So we can go up here if we don't have his LB or something. We could, we're against the beast. You kind of even want to cast this before you cast his LB, honestly. 75% on a killer is insane. So you cast that, and maybe you finish off with a Power Arrow because you can do both of those in 1 turn, and then you cast his LB after that. Amazing. But for those people out there wanting to do the 1-turn KO strats, here you go. You're not going to be able to do turn 1. You're going to have a build-up turn. I know that kind of is weird, so it's not really 1-turn KO. on the first turn, but you can 1-turn KO him on turn 2. That means you still kill him in 1 turn, right? So this helps you with doing that, and that's pretty much a big Aang strategy as it is anyway. Pushing through thresholds, doing as much damage on 1 turn as you can, and like I said, this is going to help him. Let's look at his passives here. If you have his TMR equip, which is the Sunbreaker, we're going to increase attack, defense, and spirit by 30%, increase equipment attack 50% when wielding a single weapon, so he does get 50% true double hand, which is good here, and he already had 100% when single wielding any weapon. He already had 100%, so now he's at 150%, right? And if you get lucky to get his STMR, which will put on him, that's 250%. You only got to put like a martial glove on, and then you're good. And it increases his LB damage by 30%. This is something I do want to point out. When building Aang, we already have Sunbreaker. We already have 150% passive true double hand, so you need to find that other 150%. I would be looking for something like Tomb Raider, something to put up that LB fill rate, right? Because you are wanting to spam his LB. You also, if you, and I know these are talking about well items, but I want to give people ideas if they are using those. You want to get Squall's STMR on there for the LB up, and then you also want to get CG Jake if you end up having it, right? Put as much LB up as you can, damage up, because then you're going to be doing loads of damage. Looking at Sharpened Arrow, we do get some modifiers to all of his different abilities, and the 2.8 is actually pretty high for Tempest Arrow and Blaze Arrow. So if you choose to use those abilities, if you need to do some AoE damage or anything like that, it's going to do a little bit more damage, and obviously fighting Beast, Bird, Dragon, or Insect, and he's going to be your man when it comes to finishing and do a lot of damage. Increase LB fill rate by 50%. It's not 100%, but we'll take 50% anyway. His LB, again, crystal fill he needs is 30, so be aware of that. It's kind of on the, I wouldn't say super high side, kind of medium to medium high. Increase attack 30%, recover MP 10%. I am loving this increased MP rate. Remember how it always used to be 5%? I'm liking this 10% now, because we are getting into the points where MP is costing a lot. Ash Shot, Penetrating Shot, and Petrifying Shot are going up by 0.5, and then Swift Shot is going up by 2 times the multiplier. Obviously, if you look down here at Swift Shot, physical damage 2 times the chosen enemies. You can choose up to 3, and then you have to unlock it with either the LB or any of these other shots. You could go to doing this, but I really feel like Aang is a super fun unit that's also super simple. If you have Hyper Shot available, you're more than likely using Hyper Shot. If you have his LB available, you're doing that first. If you don't have his LB available or Hyper Shot, you're going to go ahead and go down and use Power Arrow. That's what I feel like you're doing with him, which is going to be a lot of fun. If we look over his Awakening abilities, honestly, he just gets more damage and more killing abilities. So I know I didn't do a video on this. Essentially, he's just getting more damage on his abilities. As you can see, if you look at Ash Shot, Penetrating Shot, here you can see that he gets actually increased attack 100% and defense magic by 50%, defense magic and spirit when equipped with a bow, but we're obviously putting a bow on him, so you want to raise that up. Increased damage against birds and dragons by 25%, along with being resistant to poison, blind, paralyzed, confused, and petrify. So you don't want to, you literally don't have to do anything to him. As far as status elements, in my opinion, he has all the big ones covered. Blind, Paralyzed, Confuse, and Petrify. Or Paralyzed, Confuse, and Petrify, excuse me. Sleep would be good, but not a lot of things put you to sleep. Penetrating Shot and Ash, that's going to be up to you if you guys want to use that. We can obviously... He does get a 75% Fire and Peril with Ash Shot, which is going to be great. I think you're going to have a better breaker than this for Penetrating Shot, so you might not want to use that. But this is going to be important because if you do not go the route of using Wind as an imbue, we can go on down and his LB actually puts Fire on. So enhancing this ability right here to decrease fire resist by 75%, excuse me, is going to be great. You unlock Swift Shot if you'd like to use it. But overall, let's go to his LB now. So looking over his enhancements again, sorry, I just want to repeat this. So for the people, I talk all over the place. Heart of the, if you're going to be using them, Heart of the Hunter, Master Archer, and then Ash Shot are going to be the 3 that I would recommend you guys actually enhance. Just more damage, more imperils, more killers, more stats, going to help you do more damage. Moving down to Falling Sun, again, a great LB. Fire physical damage 9.4 times, with Ignore defense 50%, putting us up to an 18.8 times multiplier, I do believe, which is pretty sweet. A pretty high one up, hits in one hit, you just knock it out real quick. Decrease fire resist 90% for 3 turns to all enemies. So, this is the part where I'm talking about, I'm unsure if you absolutely want to do this. Let's see. Because you're going to be doing with his LB, and honestly, you're building up with LB, you're trying to get his LB off as much as possible, so you might not even need to waste or even cast Ash Shot. So, that's going to be up to you guys. It is, let's see, it's for 3 turns. So if you can get this bad boy back up in 3 turns, good for you. You don't really need that ability, right? Add fire element to physical attacks for 3 turns to the caster, so he does have a fire imbue here, and it unlocks hyper shot for 2 turns the caster, and the hyper shot is his big, essentially 20 times multiplier hit as long as you can cast it twice and fit it in. So overall, what do I think about Aang? I think Aang's a fantastic, fun, go get him finisher. I think he's going to be a lot of fun for people to use. I think that Sunbreaker is an incredible TMR that has a lot of versatility. But again, you don't absolutely have to have Aang, as these limited time banners are coming around. I hear a lot of people getting upset, feeling left out. Aang, if you miss out on Aang, you're not going to be the end of the world. You're going to be okay, man. They're going to be, you know, you have Sid coming out, Dragoon finisher, which is going to be a great, honestly, CGJ, 2B, these are all great finishes with their LBs. There are things you can do in the game without these limited time units, so don't feel too bad. But if you do end up getting 2 Aang, he's pretty fun and looks like he's going to be pretty powerful. Alright guys, so the next up is Yoon, the Chocobo Rider, the Punching Monk Master. You guys remember Yoon? It was a while ago when we got Yoon, but he's back with the 7-star abilities, so let's take a look into them. His TMR was Crimson Slayer, and Crimson Slayer gave you Fist of Fire, which was 30% attack with a fist. And back in the day, this thing was amazing. We were like, oh man, we use an Aegeon arm, a champion belt. That kind of fell away. This is not a good TMR anymore, in my opinion. 30% with a fist weapon isn't worth not having any attack on your chest piece, all right? This only has defense 52. The fire resist is all right, but without the attack, I don't care about the 30%. You know what I mean? You're missing out on true double hand, true dual wield, all kinds of stats. It's actually bad, so be careful of that. His STMR is combat finesse, and there for a minute, I thought I really, really wanted this. I thought I had to have this. I was actually like, I need it, but you don't. You don't need it, man. Increase equipment attack 30% with dual wielding. So you get true dual wield 30%. And then you see all these attacks you can put up. So you're like thinking, oh man, for me it was Sora. I want to make Sora as strong as I can all the time. Sora's going to be my go-to unit for a long time to come. So anytime there's an STMR or TMR coming out that makes him more powerful, I want to look into it. So I thought this was an option for me. I don't think it's that big of an option anymore. I mean, Fist is a solid weapon. We have Mace, Whip, and Dagger. Now, I'm not sleeping too hard on this. Obviously, with a true dual wield build, obviously that's what you're going to be doing with the 30%. You can mix and match, get those in there. But they're not the most... With Sora, you're going to have his Keyblade on him, in my opinion, when you true dual wield him. That Kingdom Key is going to be on him no matter what. It's too good a passive that come around. And then you need to add an element. So you can do that through a Dagger, Whip, or Mace, or Fist, but you're only taking advantage of one of those. So this isn't really the TMR for me personally. And for a lot of people, they want great swords in their hand. In the future, they want Katana, things like that, and none of those are on there. So these are kind of the, besides Fist, I feel like these are kind of the janky weapons that no one really likes to use, and they're not really meta. And I know a lot of people don't like me saying that. They hate the word meta. They hate calling janky. Hey, I use these things all the time. But I got to tell you what your money's worth. And for me, not worth it. A lot of these STMRs, not worth it on these limited time banners, at least on the Chinese New Year one, guys. So if you get it, cool. Find a way to use it. But I think you're kind of going out of your way to limit yourself and do less damage by using it. There are going to be ways. There are going to be people out there who find ways to use it greatly. But it's not going to be, again, it's not something you need to chase after. Moving on down, Yoon actually gets an entire, like, change completely. He becomes a chainer. He becomes a go-to guy when it comes to chaining. Check out Multi-Barrage. That's the first thing he gets a 7-star. Honestly, Yoon, I didn't think Yoon was a real unit. I know I'm joking around, but they usually just take monks. They're just like, get in the corner and never come back out. We don't like you. But they changed that with him. Multi-Barrage. Now, this is going to do a 7 times multiplier, 8 hit, Octaslash family, which is great. Octaslash is growing very big, just like Divine Ruination and Absolute Mirror of Equity or AT Chaining. If used after Multi-Barrage Plus, Surging Flames or Unleashed Flames, the name changes to Multi-Barrage Plus, or Multi-Barrage Plus, So, once you get this thing in the plus range and you keep casting it, it's going to be a 12 times modifier Octaslash chaining. That is mega huge. That is a big multiplier. He's going to be doing a lot of damage, which is going to be great. So this ability is awesome. It does take a little bit to get ramped up. And you need to, you got to, it turns into Multi-Barrage after you use Multi-Barrage Plus, but, it's okay because it does a lot of damage. And if you're chaining with Octaslash, it's going to be great, okay? Moving on down, we have Surging Flames, which is going to be one of the abilities that make it the plus side of that chaining ability. 3-turn cooldown available in turn 1. Increase fire resist for everybody by 75%. Pretty big support ability there. Decrease fire resist for the opponent by 100%. And increase attack by 200%. 1-turn KO lovers or big damage lovers on turn 1 are loving this. Honestly, anybody that has fire damage is loving this. It is an amazing, amazing skill that's going to help you guys when it comes to dealing a lot of damage, dude. 100% in peril. you can do it like that. It helps you out with actually casting a better Octaslash family chaining move that is a 12 times hit chain. Sign me up. Surging Flames is an amazing ability. Perfect Strikes, physical damage 8 times with consecutive increases, all the way up to a 14 times max chaining hit, which is going to be incredible. Absolute Mirror of Equity, again, just adding more and more units to this chaining family. This chaining family is going to be big. Unleash Fury. 4-turn cooldown available in turn 1. Increase attack by 200%. Increase physical damage against beasts and plants by 100% for 3 turns to caster. So, without going through any of his other skills, why would you use Yoon instead of one of these other top tier damage dealers? Now, this guy is going to do top tier damage. He's going to do high to top tier damage. He's not going to do Axstar level of damage. Like, I know a lot of people are like, I wonder why Axstar does all this damage. You'll see. His kit is absolutely insane. Along with imperiling, by 75% of the elements he wants to use, he can imbue those on himself. He has ways of building up his multipliers by using other abilities, and that's part of it. Like, imbuing builds up those multipliers. Chaining, LB use. I don't want to get into it too much because he's a little bit... He turns into more of one of the complicated chainers where you just don't click a button and go. You have to build him up. So he's not going to do that level of damage, but he's going to be up there with everybody else. So if you've been looking for a chainer, here you go. And you have 2 Yoon, maybe from when you summoned for him before, here you go. Top tier damage dealer right in your lap. For current times. And he's going to have use because of that fire resistance and the fire imperil, right? Because if you go against a boss where you really need that fire resist up, normally you're like scatterbrain trying to find it in your support. Well, you can use it with your damage dealer here, and you can end up doing more damage. So instead of like being like, well, I always use Heyo. God, I need fire resist. I need to be able to put fire resistance down. What am I going to use? Trade out Heyo for Yoon. You're going to be doing the same damage output, if not more. Probably more with Yoon, to be honest, because of the fire resist 100% on turn 1. And you still do the same damage. You see what I mean? So that's where Yoon maybe will come in handy for you guys out there with a lot of options, trying to figure out if you can use him, okay? Moving on down, let's look at his... Also, the Beast Killer and Plate Killer cannot be forgot. 100% right there. Bada bing, bada boom. Amazing. Plus, he gets 50% for Beast right here. If you're taking on a Beast, you're going to want to take him as well. Ooh, Sleep, Paralyzed, Confused. Only missed the Petrify. That was a 6-star, though. A 7-star. Reduce counter encounter rate by 25%. Pretty good. I mean, I... too hate to go on exploration to run into random enemies for no reason. Recover HP 10 and MP 10 while strolling. Doesn't really matter. Recover MP 8% per turn. That's going to matter, yes. Auto heal 2,500 HP 1 times per turn. Requires TMR equip, which is absolutely horrendous. His TMR is going to hurt him quite a bit because it doesn't have any attack. Now, there is going to be a time when STMRs will also activate these abilities from what I've been told. That's going to be a while to go, and then at that point, is Yoon going to be useful? Yes, because of the Imperil and the Fire Resist up. But he is going to be a little bit more down the damage charge than he already is. Increase defense and HP 20%, increase equipment attack 50% when dual wielding. He's going to be a dual wield unit, true dual wield unit, excuse me. So you're going to have to wait for even that meta to happen. I just hate his TMR. He's kind of put into that situation because of his TMR to have less damage. But we increase resist to blind, disease, and petrify. So bing, 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 bing. Him and Aang don't need any kind of status element resist because he's good to go, which is awesome. Blazing Heart, Raging Bird, and Blazing Combo are getting their modifiers increased. You're probably not using any of those. Honestly, you're just not. Not anymore. His other abilities are too great. He also gets 50% more beast and plant killer. So if he's facing a beast or a plant, and you're taking a an Octaslash chainer or a absolute equity chainer, AT chainer, absolute mirror of equity chainer, you're going to take him, right? I mean, he has innate 200%. Well, he doesn't have innate 200%. Excuse me. He has 100% for beast. 50% for plant, and then if you use this ability, it's 200% for beast, which you can have, equipment beast killer on too, and then 150 for plant, dude. He's gonna be doing so much damage to those things. Increase HP and MP by 20%, and we see that he has the same thing he has on his STMR, he has on this passive right here. Dagger Whip, Mace Fist, that's gonna be great for him. I feel like you're gonna put a whip in his hand, and Aegeon Fist in his hand. There's a fire whip out there you guys can get a hold of, so he can do his fire chaining with his fire imperil and go to town, guys. There's a couple things we see here that we're missing, though, right? Or there's one thing, big thing. We don't have triple cast. Although triple cast will become, I think, more important. I mean, it's already important, but I personally just almost never use it because of MP management, boss management, things like that. But I think it's going to become more and more useful when Axstar comes out, just the way his kit works. Axstar has triple cast up like all the time. So, even when using a friend unit, Axstar that has triple cast, it's going to be a little bit more easy to do. So, I don't want to knock him too much for not having that, but that is going to cut into his damage quite a bit. Again, putting him in the high tier, but not like the meta where Jacked and like Sora and 2B and all them stand. He's up there, but he's not all the way up there, okay? Moving on down, we did his enhancements were a long time ago, so you guys know all about that. He did get Kingsglaive, so Kingsglaive's not the biggest chaining family, but he adds that. I mean, he already has 2 huge chaining families now in Octoslash and AT chaining. Looking at his LB, we have physical damage 10 times. With an Nord defense 50%, that's 20 times. Decreased defense 74% for 3 turns to 1 enemy. Restore HP 0% and MP 50% to casters. He's going to get a lot of MP back. This move is absolutely ridiculous. Defense decreased by 74%. Even your best breakers out there have to use their LB to get this. So even if you have like a novice breaker, this is going to be great for you. This is another huge checkmark plus for Yoon. Overall, this ability's disgusting. Like, problem is, you got to be chaining with somebody else. But if you have a breaker like Auron can chain with your other absolute Mirror of Equity chainer, and then Yoon becomes the finisher. I like the way that sounds. But overall, I think Yoon's a fun unit. Yoon's going to have his uses. He's going to be there because of this support here. I'm not saying it's major. I'm not saying that it's going to make him last the whole game. He's super future-proof. But those are future-proof qualities, along with the ability to have really big damage against beasts and plants. I think they did it very good by Yoon. So all you Yoon lovers out there, if you've really been wanting to use him, he got an upgrade that you could be proud of. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, the main event, the good old boy, Chow. Now, I just want to specify something. I hate Chow, but not because he's not a great unit, and not because he's not a good boy. You know what I mean? I got 3 Chow when I was going for Aang. I never even got 1 Aang, and that's where most of my hate comes for Chow. I think Chow's animations are amazing. I think he's a great unit. Also, I'm not a fan of those types of dogs, all right? That's just not... There's too much fluff. There's too much poofiness. Is the dog really in there? I don't know. So bring the hate. It's all right. I still think Chow is amazing, and his 7-star is pretty stellar as well. So we knew Chow as a magic cover tank that also had some support capabilities thrown into its kit. We have Lucky Ignit, which was, you know, HP 888, MP 88, and then chance to counter magic attacks with the smile there. You know, the HP 888 was pretty funny and quite good there for a bit, so that's all right. Let's look at his STMR, which I'm 1 Chow away from. Increase HP and MP 20%, increase Spirit 80% when equipped with the robe. My God, is this amazing on healers and supports. My God, is it even more amazing on your, on your defensive magic cover tank. Out of all the STMRs that are on this banner, I do believe this is the one that's the most future-proof. I believe this is the one that can get the most miles out of using it. I believe this is the best one. Now, I'm not saying you have to chase after it, obviously, but this thing is freaking disgusting, and I want it. The problem is, again, these limited time banners are really tough. It's just so hard to get these units. So I do believe I'm going to be trying for tickets. Maybe I'll get Aang. Maybe I'll get Chow. It'll be a fun Friday. And stream. We'll see what we can get with our tickets and stuff. I do have some 10% tickets. Hey, so overall, very, very great STMR. Hope I didn't lose you guys there on that rant. So, Chow doesn't really, you know, look at these are his abilities. Chow doesn't fuck around, guys. He does his job, he does it well, and he gets out, he goes home to his little puppy Chows that you guys didn't know about, but he is a father, all right? Moving on down, let's look at his 7-star abilities. Dual white magic, be able to cast white magic twice in a turn. This is going to become even more, how am I trying to put this? Meaningful through his 7-star magic that he gets. We'll look at it in a second. A lot of people are excited for this, and a lot of people are okay with it because a lot of, you could still put the Holy Wand into the puppy's hand, and he could be doing this anyway, right, from the 10-man trial. But it's good to have it no matter that, because you may want to change up the equipment anyway. So it's good just to have it as a passive. Next up, you get Spiritual Guardian, which is an amazing ability. Chance to protect all allies from magic damage 80%, which you can see is 75%. 75% was normal one, so it's a little bit up from that, but you almost never don't cover. With damage mitigation 50 to 70% for 4 turns to caster, so it's going to be 1 more turn than this. It is a available turn 1 on a 5-turn cooldown, though, so there's going to be 1 turn where, you know, you're not covering in between, which is kind of rough. You're going to have to cast this ability, I guess, in between. But it grants an HP barrier 2,000 for 4 turns to all allies. This is incredible. Every turn, what do you do? Like, if you're taking a magic tank in, almost 100%, what do you do on the first turn? You cast your AoE magic wall spell that protects everybody. This one protects everybody a little bit more of a chance and gives everybody a 2,000 HP barrier. That is what a support is all about. That is a support ability if I ever saw one. I love it. Next up, we have Guardian's Blessing, also available in turn 1, a 4-turn cooldown. Increase attack, defense, magic, and spirit break by 100%. Dude, enable skill for 4 turns to caster Sudden Wealth. So we're gonna have to go look what Sudden Wealth is. Let's take a look. But this right here, you guys know how many times you get into a fight, you know, you want that break resist. Now, a lot of the times what we do is we just fight through it. They break our attack by 30, 40%, all of our stats, and we're just like, whatever, dude, I can fight through it, 7-star power. Well, that's gonna be kind of rough later on, so it's great that we have our tank, who could be doing a lot of stuff on their off turns, because if you look at tanks as a whole, they normally will cover, some will cover and provoke, and then they kind of have a turn or two off where, you know, what can I do? What can I do for you, man? I'm here to support. Chow has things that he can do on his off turn. So let's look at what Sudden Wealth is. Sudden Wealth. Use Guardian Sacrifice, Courageous Heart, Strong Encouragement, Improved Focus twice in a turn. So all of his old abilities he has here, he can use twice in a turn now, which is going to be incredible. Meaning that he can add his auto recover to himself. So if he would die, he'd bring himself back to life, which is actually really good. Then he has the ability to improve focus, which puts up magic and spirit, increases charm resist. He has the ability to put stop resist up, and this has been increased. This turn count has been increased with enhancements. We'll look in a minute. And then he can also sacrifice himself to recover everybody's HP. Now, the problem I have with this, I know people are immediately going to be like, wait a minute, I just cast Courageous Heart for the auto revive, and then I cast Sacrifice myself and heal all my units. I'm good to go. I don't even need, like, the healer's gone, which kind of the healer's gone with Chow. We'll look at that in a minute. But the problem is if you do that, when he dies and comes back, he's not AoE covering. So be very careful about that. That's going to be something to very look into. But the ability to stop things like Stop and Charm, where other people are really hard, you can't get resistance to that, right? Like, you have to have an outside source. You can dual cast that now. Incredible. And also you're buffing. And the buffing gets a little bit better with enhancements. You know, Chow's enhancements are pretty good, and we'll talk about those in a minute. Moving on down to his passives, requiring his TMR to be equipped, increase spirit, HP, and MP by 20%, increase stop resist by 100%. I do believe you want to have his TMR equipped. These are just great stats for Chow overall, and in stop resist, you're going to want that just in case you do need to, you know, make it out of a situation where stop is being cast, and maybe you didn't get off your stop resist. I don't know why you would do that, but hey. So I wouldn't say it's 100% needed. However, you know, these stats are 20% on all those stats, plus that TMR is actually pretty good, so I think you do put it on him. Reliable Protector. Increase Spirit and HP 30% when equipped with a light shield, or the same with a heavy shield, so depending on what shield you want to put on, for maybe elemental resist reasons, you're still getting that Spirit and HP 30%, which are the two stats he really wants. Defense up 20%, increase defense, Spirit, and HP by 20%. Magic Evasion 10%. I cannot tell you how crazy this is. Like, you're randomly gonna be like, here it comes, boom, boom, evade, boom, evade, boom. I mean, you can get lucky. It's 10%, man, but you can get lucky. Can you imagine? It's like, all right, guys, this fight just came out, and right now, nobody can tank that big magic hit. It doesn't matter. It's not elements. You know, Chow's gonna die. You need to get that re-raise on him. Oh no, I couldn't put the re-raise. I messed up. Don't worry, Chow's got you. Evade. Like, can you imagine? You'd be so hyped if that happens. So that's pretty cool. Increase LB fill rate 50%. And his LB is actually top tier here, baby. So let's keep moving on down to what he gets. Again, I was telling you about a 7-star white magic cast, Dispelga. So now even your tank can Dispelga there, can do the Dispelga trick on you. I don't think you really want to be doing that with your tank because you're going to get rid of your covers. But hey, if in dire situations, that's something he can do. He also gets Curaja. With all the spirit you're going to be stacking on him, this guy can be your healer, guys. There are going to be some trials out there where you're going to want a double healer, right? It's just going to happen with some trials. Double healer is going to become a little bit of the meta there. Chow takes the place of a magic cover tank and a healer. So now you don't need double healer. You have Chow and then you have a healer. Bada bing, bada boom. Amazing. Moving on down to his ability awakenings, because I know I didn't talk about these too much. See, we have spiritual core. We want this put up just for the spirit. The spirit up. If you go below 60%, you're getting 150%. Now, this isn't one that I feel like you absolutely have to put it up, because like, while you may buff higher than 150 spirit, you get the base 50% spirit. Anything to give Chow spirit is going to be great, tanking and healing wise. So you do want to invest in spiritual core. Strong encouragement, increase attack 100%. So that was the turn, that was the move that we can dual cast, right? That puts up the stop resist. So you're getting 4 turns of stop resist, and you're getting 100% of the attack and defense going up. So that's decent. That's a decent buff. I'm not saying it's as good as the stronger buffers out there, obviously, but that's decent. It's not something you can just go away from. So if you needed to, Chow could also be your buffer. Again, not the strongest buffer, but still could be it. Twin Discipline, this is just going to give you more stats in the spirit range. You definitely just want to increase this as well. Anything that gives a unit base stats, or it's not base stats, it's percentage stats increase, is great, right? As long as it's the stats that they're going to be using. Twin Discipline is, so you want to enhance that as well. Improved Focus is going to be the same as the Strong Encouragement, except for blocking Charm for 4 turns, which is a lot. And then also increasing your Magic and Spirit by 100% to help with buffing, which is going to be great. So honestly, I do believe you're increasing all of these if you're using Chow, because it's a lot of stat buffs and a lot of good useful abilities. Changes, the adding a turn. You can skip Strong Encouragement and Improved Focus. If don't push yourself too hard, because again, you could just cast it before the 3 turns are up, and if you have a better buffer, this 100% isn't going to matter to you anyway. So it's going to be account by account, but it's still pretty good if you want Chow to cover all those different things: tank, healer, and buffer. It's going to be great. Looking on down is LB. Mitigate damage taken 54%. So if you know something big's coming, have Chow's Limit Burst ready. It's a hefty one, but have it ready for you, because it's also going to heal HP 10% and give all your MP back, essentially. 75% is a lot. So this is going to definitely be an ability that you want to level up. It's only base 30% and 45% at lower level. So if you level it up, it's going to go all the way up to a 54%, as it was at 6-star. But it's going to put that MP up by an extra from his 6-star 20%. That's a lot of MP, guys. So again, looking over all of this, is Chow the beast you guys were hoping for? If you used your UOC on Chow and you were banking everything on Chow being amazing, did it turn out that you did right? Yes, Chow is one of the top tier, if not the top tier Magic cover tank in the game right now, in my opinion, providing a full kit of a great Magic cover tank, along with the added support of being a healer and possibly even being able to take the place of a healer in a lot of scenarios. He has the MP recovery you need. He has the healing you may need. He has the buffing you may need. Things he's missing, as other healers have: re-raise, casting on everyone. He doesn't have LB fill rate up. But that's just, you know, you can't ask for everything in a unit. Sorry for hitting the mic there, guys. You can't ask for everything in a unit. But Chow is really, really great. And there are going to be a lot of cases where even if you have Awaken Rain, if you have both Chow and Awaken Rain, Chow may be your go-to guy to help you get through that trial anyway. So overall, guys, what have we learned? We learned that this banner is, well, I guess not even banner. These old units, if you're trying to pull for them again, it is somewhat skippable. Or really skippable, I guess I should say. You don't need Aang. You don't need Yoon. These are non-needed units. Now, Sunbreaker is a great TMR to have if you want to try to grab one of them. But they're Yoon and Aang. Obviously, there are a lot of units out there to do what Yoon do, damage-wise, and a lot of units to do what Aang does. They're going to be fun units that you guys can use later on. Chow, however, if you don't have a Magic cover tank, Chow is going to be a great option for you. If you end up having one of them, maybe test your luck and trying to get another one. If you already have Awaken Rain, I'm not saying that Chow isn't going to be useful for you in certain trials and even going into the future. Chow is super duper future-proof. It's going to be great for you guys as a very strong Magic cover tank healer. But again, don't feel too bad if you miss out. There are a ton of units out there that you guys can get your hands on physical damage-wise. So both of these are physical damage dealers. You're going to have a ton of them options. They're going to be even stronger. And then as far as Chow is concerned, hey, you always have Awaken Rain if you'd like to use him. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if Chow was a good boy or you're a little disappointed with him. You better be a good boy to you guys. And then subscribe for future content. We'll catch you guys in the next video.